Born in 1969, Cara Walker is a contemporary painter, silhouettist, printmaker, and installation artist. Her work primarily explores race, gender, sexuality, violence, and identity. She is best known for her room-sized tableau of block cut paper silhouettes. Walker lives in New York and previously taught at Columbia University. Walker has previously been commissioned to exhibit in the Turbine Hall at Tate Modern, where she created the work Fons Americanas, which was partially inspired by the monument outside Buckingham Palace. To find out more about Cara Walker and other black artists, head over to this month's temporary exhibition in the Isolation Gallery. Okay, so to join in, you'll need some black paper, a sketchbook, some scissors or a knife if you're an adult, some pencils, so that's like a normal 2B and a lighter colour pencil, white paper to mount your design on, or you can even use a wall and be a bit more like Cara Walker. So with that, let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is just a quick sketch out of your design before we move on to the black paper. I suggest just using a 2B pencil and either a sketchbook or a bit of scrap paper. I want to talk a bit about where my inspiration is coming from and who my silhouette is. So my silhouette is based on a character from Jane Eyre. Now my character is actually Bertha Mason and she's the mad woman in the attic. So Jane Eyre was written in 1847, which is after the abolishment of slavery. However, there are undertones of colonialism and slavery and class and race woven right throughout the book. One of the earlier elements of this is through the character Rochester. So he's one of the main characters and he's in quite a bad mood a lot of the time, and this is due to his inherited way of life being torn apart because of the abolishment of slavery. His family's plantations are basically being ruined, so he's in a pretty foul mood. And it's sort of reflected through the Gothic as well. So the novel is very, very much a Gothic novel, and those kind of dark undertones are sort of interwoven through that genre. So if we get to our Bertha Mason, she is the mad woman in the attic. And this is actually Rochester's wife. He has a secret hidden wife that he brought back with him from Jamaica. He was tricked into marrying her because she was a plantation heiress. He perceives her as a lesser of a human, a lesser person, and he thinks that she's mad because she's kind of wild, she's exotic. He doesn't sort of fully understand her and he doesn't see her as a person. So she's kind of dubbed this mad woman in the attic and thought of as almost like a ghostly, a spectre. Again, it's playing on that Gothic theme, but it's also talking about race and culture. If we fast forward to 1966, there's a novel called Wild Sargasso Sea, which is a novel by Jean Rice, and this talks about Bertha's perspective and how she's like a normal person, and she starts off in Jamaica and it's about her journey to England and then how she's just locked up in this attic, but actually she's very much with it. She's kind of, why am I here? And it's all from her point of view, which is quite an interesting take, the fact that someone in the 1960s is then also writing about this character but from a completely different point of view. So I recommend reading them both and having a think, but that's where my characters are from, or my figure is from. And I've also put in a tree because there's quite a lot of wildlife and nature involved in Jane Eyre, and also the big sort of wise oak tree. There's a lot of connotations, and there's a reason that I've put sort of a piece of nature. I was going to put the tower in as well, sort of the tower where she's locked up, but I quite liked the idea of keeping some of that femininity, some of that sort of softness and earthiness and wildness, but in a really sort of positive and feminine way. So there's a bit of background to my little piece that I'm doing today. So back to the workshop, and I've decided to just shade in with a pen. You can do this if you want, or you can use a pencil. I just wanted to have a really clear outline of what it looks like when it's in silhouette. So I'm now going to sketch out my design onto the black paper. This is step 2. You want to use a lighter coloured pencil so that you can see it against the black paper and you can see what you're doing. Step 3 is to carefully cut your design out. So grown-ups can use a knife if you want to get those lovely clean edges, and if you're under 18, obviously you want to grab yourself a pair of scissors. You can do a really great job with scissors. You don't need a knife, honestly. I just did it because I'm kind of used to using knives. So try and be as neat as you can, and if you can add in little elements of detail, so you'll see later on I go back in and cut parts of the hair and things like that, that's a really great thing to do. Is to cut some more objects or silhouettes out. This is optional, so here I'm doing my tree. You might want to add in another figure, you might want to add in some different things of nature, you could do some paper cut flowers, whatever you feel that suits your inspiration and suits your project. So step 5, you want to either get a sketchbook and stick it down in your sketchbook or on a large piece of paper if you want to put it on the wall, or you can actually just tack it straight onto the wall, which is what I've done here. That's a little bit more like Cara Walker as she does her installations, she puts them straight up on the wall. Well, I hope you had fun and you give it a go and that you found this interesting. I mean, we've got a bit of cross-pollination. We've gone from novels and novels through time and also artwork. So have fun and get going with your creativity.